Hey there, Hofstra fans, and thanks for joining us here inside the WB Mason Coaches Report, like we do every week, joined by the head coach of the Hofstra Field Hockey Team, Angelis. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Great being here.
Well, Coach, big week last week, a couple of games. You had your first road contest of the season, then you had two at home. Before we get in-depth with the games, what were your overall thoughts on how the week went?
Well, we were a little disappointed what happened up at Fairfield, and unfortunately, we really didn't step up with the confidence and the ability that we have at this point in the season. So it was not. It was one of our weaker games, and only thing we can take from that is you got to learn from it, so it doesn't happen again, and then we can get stronger through. We can get stronger through a loss like that.
Now, as far as that first Fairfield game goes, any extra prep that goes into it being your first road game, having to go, travel on the road, new experience for these freshmen kind of getting adjusted to different fields?
Right. Well, we struggled a little bit on their new surface, and I think that hurt us a little bit. We need to make an adjustment quicker, and unfortunately, when we did make an adjustment, it was just too late. And I'm happy how we ended. We didn't get an opportunity to get on the scoreboard to change the impact of the game, but we played extremely well the end of the second half and really fought, and I couldn't ask more from the team after that. But again, it's disappointing when you lose a game like that.
Now let's take a look at the two contests you had at home this week, a game against the University of Maine Black Bears, and then of course Sacred Heart University on Sunday. Focus on the one against Maine. Maybe not the best result that you guys could have hoped for, but there were some positives. You had a couple of goals off a penalty corner. Stella continued her torrid pace of goal scoring. What do you take away from that loss, despite the fact that, wasn't the result that you wanted?
Right. Well, we knew Maine was going to be a very powerful opponent, and they always have been. And so we knew we were going to have to play one of our better games at this point in the season in order to, one, keep it close and win the game. We're happy that on three corners we had two goals, and Stella did a great job. She was a big impact on that, as were the stoppers and inserts, and her performance was quite strong. We played very well for a long period of time, probably about 55 minutes, and we came within one goal. And about 16 minutes ago, something happened where we let our guard down, and you can't do that against a team like Maine. And they capitalized, and they scored two goals in about 6 minutes. And unfortunately, instead of it being 3-2, it was being 6-2. So from that, we really the clearest picture you can see from that is that when you play a team of that caliber, you can't sit back. And you have to continue to fight all the way till the end, and we certainly learned from that, and really that's something we'll take that type of a game into the CAAs.
Now focus a little bit on Stella. She has just been scoring at a torrid pace, leading her team in goals right now, and that's astonishing for a freshman who's only played a couple of games at Division I level. Named CAA Rookie of the Week this past week. What has made her so successful?
Well, she is a playmaker, and she makes a lot of things happen for the other attackers and strikers on the line. She moves the ball very, very well, and how she moves the ball, she creates a lot of opportunities for other players. It's not really about Stella and what she can do. She's such a playmaker and a team player that it's great, and we're developing more and more on that striker line, and we're getting to click more and more. It's still going to take some time because we are platooning different players in and out. It's a good thing that we have the depth, but she's able to work with whatever players that come into the game, and that's really great where she is right now in her game.
Now you guys on Sunday get back on the winning track, a nice victory over Sacred Heart University. All starts with that opening penalty stroke goal from Holly Andrews. What decision goes into her to make her take the stroke, and how did that kind of propel your team to that victory?
Right. Well, we do a lot of practice and see who's consistent on their strokes and where the stroke is as well. We have players who really can. We have a ton of players who actually can stroke very, very well. But she has a very powerful stroke to the low corners, which is one of the most difficult for a goalkeeper to save, because they have to make a decision if they're gonna split or they're gonna dive. Whereas if the ball is high, generally they're just gonna dive high through that spot. So anyone who can have a consistent stroke, and hers is very powerful, and it's been on. There was no doubt in my mind she'd be the #1 stroker. So really, really happy she connected, and it gives her a boost of confidence, gives our team a boost of confidence, and I think it definitely got us rolling there right after that. So.
Now, as far as the week went, you mentioned it, you had a couple of losses, you do have the victory over Sacred Heart University. What do you take away from a week like this to prepare you for the rest of the season?
Well, number one, it was great to get the win with Sacred Heart. I think it's really important that the wins can really help your morale and to see all the time that we're putting in. It also gives us opportunity to see what we can do on the attack. When you're playing defense a lot, you're not really sure what the attack can do. So it gave us a real good picture of what our attack is capable of doing. I would have liked to get on the scoreboard more. But we really, in the attacking third, I couldn't ask more for what we were doing, drawing corners and getting the ball into the circle, and it led to some nice goals. That's really what we'll take from that is that we know we can, when we get the ball in the attack line, we know we're dangerous.
Now, a couple of contests this week against Rider and Yale. What are you going to work on in practice getting ready for those two?
Well, we are still working with consistency of certain players, and the great thing about our team right now is the depth that we have. And we'll go ahead and put a starting lineup there, which we think, based on their last performance, based on their practices, based on the teams we're playing, and we know if it's not working, we can go right to the depth and we can make a change. And I think that's going to be for a while. I see that happening because we have so many talented players right now that different games, they offer more. Some can endure 35-minute halves and play consistently, physically and mentally. Others can play a full 70 minutes. Some need some time to on the sideline just to focus and see what they need to do. So in any case, like the biggest thing that we're focusing on is trying to work on those players being more consistent in their play and their mental game.
Now, as I mentioned, you have games 3 and 4 of this 5-game homestand coming up this week. First game's against Riders, second game's against Yale. Just give us a little scouting report on what we can expect to see from those two teams.
Right. Well, Rider, both these are formidable teams, and we have a great game against both these teams each year. Last year, we had a fantastic game against Yale, and we had not beaten them in several years. We beat them up in New Haven, so that was a turning point in our season last year. We did lose to Rider this past year, and they're a very strong team. They won their conference. They went on to play UMass in the NCAAs in the play-in, and they put up such an amazing game against UMass. It was just a one-goal game, and we know the level of the players they have, but they're physically very strong, and that's something where we're going to need our team to be, really have that toughness and to play against Rider. We have those players. We just got to make sure that we're ready for that on Friday.
Finally, Coach, what do you have to do to get 2 victories?
Well, I think the most important thing is we need to continue to work on our chemistry and gelling with players around us. We're going to continue to platoon our lineup, and players who are playing consistently, we need them to really work a little bit harder for the players that are subbing in to work with them. And eventually, we've now got an opportunity to work with so many different players in different lineups that it wouldn't matter which lineup we put up. Everyone is accustomed to working with so many different players. So that's really our goal right now.
Head coach of the Hofstra Pride Field Hockey team, Kathy Angelis, thanks as always for joining us. And Hofstra fans, remember, you can tune in to WB Mason Coaches Report each and every week with all your favorite Hofstra Pride coaches only on GoHofstra.com.